3, 2, 1.
The story of science is often a story of unexpected discovery. It's about finding clues that change everything we thought we knew. In the year 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers sought shelter from a storm near the island of Antikythera. They stumbled upon an ancient Roman shipwreck, a treasure trove from another time. Among the statues and pottery, they found a strange, corroded lump of bronze. It looked like a rock fused together by 2,000 years under the sea. No one knew it then, but this lump was one of the most important archaeological finds in history. It was a message from the past, a technological fossil that would rewrite our understanding of the ancient world. For decades, this corroded artifact sat in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, largely overlooked. It was a curiosity, a piece of a puzzle with no picture on the box. Early examinations hinted at something more. Observers saw faint traces of gears and inscriptions, but the technology to see inside this calcified bronze lump just didn't exist yet. It was like finding a locked diary without a key. The secrets of the Antikythera Mechanism, as it came to be known, remained silent. They waited patiently for a future that could finally understand the language of its creators, a language of mathematics, astronomy, and exquisite engineering. We had to catch up to the past. The true significance of this find only began to emerge in the second half of the 20th century. With the advent of X-ray and gamma-ray imaging, scientists could finally peer through the layers of corrosion. What they saw was breathtaking. Inside that unremarkable lump was a complex system of interlocking gears, at least 30 of them, maybe more. This was not just a simple clock, it was a sophisticated geared device from the 2nd century BCE. The level of miniaturization and complexity was thought to be impossible for that era. It was a level of craftsmanship that Europe wouldn't see again for over 1,000 years, until the great cathedral clocks of the late Middle Ages. This single object shattered our timeline of technological progress. It was a jolt to our assumptions about what the ancients were capable of. We often imagine a steady, linear march of progress, from simple tools to complex machines. But the Antikythera Mechanism stands as a powerful testament against that simple story. It shows us that history is not a straight line. It's full of peaks, valleys, and lost knowledge. This device was a pinnacle of ancient Greek ingenuity, a masterpiece of science and engineering that was lost to the sea and nearly lost to history itself. It's a reminder that the cosmos has always inspired us to reach for greatness. So what exactly was this incredible device? What did it do? The Antikythera Mechanism was, in essence, an analog computer. It was a mechanical model of the cosmos, as the ancient Greeks understood it. By turning a single knob on its side, you could set the entire universe in motion. The gears would whir and click, and a series of pointers on the front and back dials would move to show you the positions of celestial objects on any given date. It was a portable planetarium, a user's guide to the heavens. You didn't need to be a professional astronomer to use it. You just needed to be curious about your place in the universe. The front dial was the main display, the star of the show. It showed the position of the sun and the moon against the backdrop of the zodiac constellations. The zodiac is that familiar belt of constellations that the sun appears to travel through over the course of a year. The mechanism had a pointer for the sun and another for the moon, accurately tracking their paths through the sky. It even accounted for the moon's variable speed, a subtle and complex motion known as the first lunar anomaly. This wasn't just a simple calendar. It was a dynamic model of a complex cosmic dance, all elegantly displayed on a single circular face. But the real genius was hidden in the back. The back of the mechanism featured 2 large spiral dials. These dials were dedicated to predicting cycles. One was the Metonic cycle, a 19-year cycle that helps reconcile the solar year with the lunar months. This is crucial for creating a reliable lunar-solar calendar, something incredibly important for timing religious festivals and agricultural activities. The other spiral dial tracked the Saros cycle, a period of about 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours. The Saros cycle is the key to predicting eclipses, both solar and lunar. The mechanism told you when an eclipse was likely to happen, a power that must have seemed magical. Imagine the power this device gave its owner. You could predict the next full moon. You could know when the next Olympic Games was scheduled to occur, as it had a dial for the Pan-Hellenic Games cycle. And most impressively, you could predict when the sun would go dark or the moon would turn blood red. In a world where celestial events were often seen as omens from the gods, having a machine that could predict them was like holding the secrets of the divine in your hands. It was a tool that transformed the unpredictable cosmos into a knowable, predictable system, a clockwork universe you could hold in a wooden box. The engineering inside the Antikythera Mechanism is where things get truly mind-blowing. To make this cosmic calculator work, the ancient Greek craftsmen had to solve some serious mechanical challenges. The planets, sun and moon don't move in perfect, simple circles. Their speeds change and their paths are complex. To model this, the mechanism used a brilliant system of differential gears. A differential gear is a set of gears that can add or subtract rotational speeds. This is the same kind of technology you'd find in the transmission of a modern car. To find it in a 2,200-year-old device is simply astounding. It's a testament to a level of mechanical theory we thought was invented much, much later. One of the most elegant features was how it modeled the moon's tricky orbit. The moon appears to speed up and slow down as it orbits the Earth. To replicate this, the mechanism's creator used an ingenious pin and slot system. One gear was mounted slightly off-center on another gear. As the main gear turned at a constant rate, a pin on it moved within a slot on a third gear, causing that third gear to speed up and slow down at just the right moments. This beautifully simple solution perfectly mimicked the moon's complex motion. It shows a deep understanding not just of astronomy, but of how to translate that astronomical knowledge into physical mechanical motion. The precision of the gears themselves is also a marvel. They were cut from a thin sheet of bronze with teeth that were tiny equilateral triangles. The average tooth size was just over a millimeter. Think about that. Crafting this by hand, without modern tools, without computer-aided design, requires an incredible level of skill and patience. It's the work of a master artisan, someone who was both a brilliant scientist and a gifted machinist. Every single tooth had to be perfectly spaced and shaped for the entire system to function. One small error, and the whole cosmic calendar would be thrown off. The craftsmanship speaks of a tradition of precision mechanics that has been almost entirely lost to history. This machine wasn't just functional, it was also a work of art. It was housed in a wooden box about the size of a shoebox with bronze doors. These doors were covered in what was essentially a user's manual. Inscribed with thousands of characters of Greek text, the instructions explained what the mechanism did and how to interpret its dials. It described the rising and setting of major stars and constellations. It was a complete astronomical compendium. The creators didn't just build a scientific instrument, they built a beautiful object designed to share the wonder of the cosmos with others. It was science communication, ancient Greek style. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just a clock or a calendar, it was a sophisticated scientific instrument designed to answer specific questions about the sky. Its primary function was to mechanize the astronomical theories of its day. By inputting a date, the user could instantly see a snapshot of the heavens. For ancient societies, this was incredibly practical knowledge. Agriculture depended on knowing the right time to plant and harvest, which was tied to the solar year and the rising of specific stars. Religious festivals were often timed by the cycles of the moon. This device brought all that information together in one place. One of its most important functions was the prediction of eclipses. The spiral dial on the back tracked the 223-month Saros cycle. When a pointer on this dial lined up with a symbol, it indicated that a solar or lunar eclipse was possible. The inscriptions next to the symbols even gave more detail, like the predicted time of the eclipse. For a culture that saw eclipses as powerful portents, this was a huge deal. It moved eclipses from the realm of unpredictable divine anger to the realm of understandable cyclical nature. It was a step away from superstition and a step towards a rational scientific worldview. The universe might be vast and mysterious, but this machine showed it followed rules. The device also served as a kind of almanac for social and cultural events. The smaller dial within the Saros spiral was an Olympiad dial. It tracked the 4-year cycle of the Pan-Hellenic Games, including the famous Olympic Games. This highlights the deep connection between civic life, culture, and the cosmos in the ancient Greek world. The same instrument that tracked the majestic dance of the sun and moon also helped you know when the next big sporting event was. It shows us that science wasn't an isolated activity for academics. It was woven into the fabric of society, relevant to everyone from farmers to athletes. What makes the mechanism so profound is that it embodies the scientific method. It's built on observation, decades, even centuries of careful astronomical records from the Babylonians and Egyptians inherited by the Greeks. It's built on theory, the Greek geometric models of how the cosmos worked. And it's a tool for prediction, the ultimate test of any scientific theory. Does your model accurately predict what will happen in the future? The Antikythera mechanism was designed to do just that. It was a physical manifestation of a scientific worldview, a testament to the idea that the universe is not chaotic but ordered, and that its order can be understood through reason and mathematics. To truly appreciate the Antikythera mechanism, we have to look at the universe through the eyes of an ancient Greek philosopher. They didn't have telescopes or spacecraft. Their laboratory was the world around them, and their primary tools were geometry and logic. They believed the cosmos was a cosmos, an ordered, harmonious, and beautiful system. They sought to find the underlying mathematical principles that governed the motions of the heavens. For them, astronomy wasn't just about tracking lights in the sky. It was a path to understanding the fundamental nature of reality. The universe was rational, and therefore it could be understood by the rational human mind. The mechanism is a perfect expression of this philosophical approach. It's a geocentric model, meaning it places the Earth at the center of the universe. This was the prevailing view at the time, and it makes sense from our perspective here on Earth. From where we stand, it certainly looks like the sun, moon, and stars are revolving around us. The mechanism's gears are a mechanical representation of the geometric theories developed by astronomers like Hipparchus. They used complex combinations of circles called epicycles to explain the observed motions of celestial bodies. The gears of the mechanism are the physical embodiment of these abstract geometric ideas. This device reveals a deep confidence in the power of mathematics. The Greeks believed that numbers and geometry were the language of the universe. Plato famously said, "God ever geometrizes." The creator of the Antikythera mechanism took that idea and turned it into a reality of bronze and wood. They translated the abstract equations of astronomical theory into a tangible working machine. It's a profound statement that the logical order of the cosmos can be replicated in a human-made object. The universe is a grand machine, and here in miniature is a machine that mirrors it. It's a celebration of human intellect and our ability to grasp cosmic order. Moreover, the mechanism reflects a desire to connect humanity with the cosmos. It wasn't locked away in a temple for priests alone. Its design, with its user manual and clear dials, suggests it was meant to be used, perhaps by a wealthy patron, a navigator, or a teacher. It was a tool for education and demonstration, a way to make the majestic clockwork of the heavens accessible. It democratized cosmic knowledge, taking it out of the exclusive hands of a few experts and putting it into a box that could be shared. It says that the universe belongs to everyone who is curious enough to ask questions about it. The discovery and gradual understanding of the Antikythera mechanism have had a seismic impact on several fields of study. For archaeologists, it was really a wake-up call. It forced a complete re-evaluation of the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations. Before the mechanism, if you had shown an expert a set of complex differential gears, they would have confidently dated it to the 16th century or later. This single artifact pushed the timeline for that level of mechanical engineering back by more than 1,500 years. It showed that there were huge gaps in our knowledge, that history is not just what we've found, but also what has been lost. For historians of science and technology, the mechanism is a game changer. It demonstrates a tradition of sophisticated scientific instrumentation in the Hellenistic world that was previously only hinted at in ancient texts. We have writings from figures like Cicero that describe similar devices, but they were often dismissed as exaggerated or fanciful. The Antikythera mechanism proves they were real. It provides concrete physical evidence that ancient engineers possessed a deep theoretical and practical knowledge of mechanics. It's the hardware that proves the software described in ancient writings actually existed and could be implemented with stunning success. In the world of astronomy, the mechanism offers a unique window into the state of Greek astronomical knowledge in the 2nd century BCE. The cycles it tracks, like the Saros and Metonic cycles, show a synthesis of Babylonian astronomical data with Greek geometric theory. The way it models the lunar anomaly confirms that Greek astronomers had developed highly sophisticated models to account for the irregularities they observed in the sky. It's a snapshot of a golden age of astronomy, capturing the theories of great minds like Hipparchus, not in a dusty scroll, but in a dynamic working model. It shows us not just what they knew, but how they applied that knowledge. The mechanism also serves as a powerful symbol for the interdisciplinary nature of modern research. To unlock its secrets, it took a global team of experts, archaeologists, physicists, mathematicians, classicists, and computer scientists. They used cutting-edge imaging technology and computer modeling to digitally reconstruct the device and read its faded inscriptions. The study of this ancient machine spurred the development of new techniques for analyzing historical artifacts. The story of the mechanism's rediscovery is a modern scientific adventure in itself, a perfect example of how different fields can come together to solve a great historical mystery. One of the most profound implications of the Antikythera mechanism is the challenge it poses to our modern view of technological progress. We tend to think of history as a straight, upward sloping line. We started with stone tools, then came the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, the Industrial Revolution, and finally our own digital era. Each step is seen as a clear improvement on the last, building directly on what came before. This idea is comforting. It places us at the pinnacle of a long, steady climb. It suggests that progress is inevitable and that knowledge is cumulative and never truly lost. The Antikythera mechanism smashes that simple, linear narrative. It represents a technological peak that was reached and then tragically lost. The knowledge required to design and build such a device, the advanced mechanics, the precision gearing, the astronomical theory, did not survive the fall of the Roman Empire in a practical form. It vanished, for over a millennium, nothing as mechanically complex was created in Europe. It was as if a brilliant chapter in the book of technology was torn out, and humanity had to start again from an earlier page. The great clockmakers of medieval Europe were, in a sense, reinventing the wheel that the ancient Greeks had already perfected. This forces us to ask some uncomfortable questions. What other knowledge, what other technologies might have been lost to time? The Antikythera mechanism survived only because of a lucky accident, a shipwreck in the right place, preserved by the sea and discovered by chance. It's the sole survivor of what might have been a widespread and sophisticated tradition of mechanical engineering. How many other Antikythera mechanisms rusted away on land, were melted down for their bronze, or were simply destroyed by the ravages of war and time? We are left to wonder about a history that might have been a world of lost inventions and forgotten geniuses. The story of the mechanism suggests that progress is not guaranteed. It's fragile. It depends on stable societies, on the transmission of knowledge from one generation to the next, and on a culture that values science and ingenuity. When those things break down, progress can halt or even reverse. The mechanism is a ghost from a lost future, a reminder that civilizations can lose their way. It teaches us humility. We may stand on the shoulders of giants, but some of those giants were standing on the shoulders of even older giants, whose names and achievements have been all but erased by the sands of time. One of the most tantalizing mysteries surrounding the Antikythera mechanism is who made it. The device itself offers no signature, no made-in stamp. However, the clues embedded within its design and inscriptions point us toward a specific time and place. The astronomical data and the style of the Greek lettering suggest it was built sometime between 150 and 100 BCE. The content, particularly the calendar for the Pan-Hellenic Games, points to a Greek origin, likely from a colony where Corinthian influence was strong, since the calendar months seem to be of Corinthian origin. Many scholars believe the island of Rhodes is the most likely candidate for its creation. In the 2nd century BCE, Rhodes was a major center for astronomy and engineering. It was home to the great astronomer Hipparchus, who is often called the father of astronomy. Hipparchus did extensive work on the motion of the moon and the sun. catalogued stars and is credited with discovering the precession of the equinoxes. The sophisticated astronomy encoded in the mechanism, especially the model for the moon's variable motion, aligns perfectly with the known work of Hipparchus. It's very possible he designed it, or was part of a school of thought that did. The Roman orator Cicero even wrote about a similar device, a bronze sphere, created by Posidonius of Rhodes, a philosopher who followed Hipparchus, that showed the motions of the sun, moon, and 5 planets. While the Antikythera mechanism doesn't show the planets in the surviving fragments, it fits the general description of such a machine. The shipwreck itself was a Roman vessel loaded with Greek treasures, possibly sailing from Rhodes or nearby Pergamum. It might have been loot from a military campaign or a luxury good being transported to a wealthy Roman patron. The pieces of the puzzle seem to fit, but we must be careful not to fall for the lone genius narrative. While a brilliant mind like Hipparchus was almost certainly involved, a device this complex wasn't built in a vacuum. It required a whole ecosystem of knowledge and skill. It needed the astronomers to provide the data and theories. It needed the master machinist to invent the gear trains and cut the bronze with precision. It needed the scribes to engrave the instructions. The Antikythera mechanism wasn't the product of one person, but of a culture that valued scientific inquiry and possessed a deep tradition of mechanical craftsmanship that we are only now beginning to appreciate. Today, on the 26th of August 2025, the Antikythera mechanism continues to inspire and humble us. It is more than just an ancient artifact. It's a symbol of human curiosity and ingenuity. It represents the timeless drive to understand our place in the cosmos. That same drive that compelled an ancient Greek engineer to model the heavens in bronze is the same drive that sends robotic rovers to Mars and launches telescopes to peer at the edge of the observable universe. The tools have changed, our knowledge has expanded, but the fundamental human question, what's out there, remains the same. The legacy of the mechanism is profound because it connects us to our distant ancestors in a powerful, tangible way. It's easy to think of the ancient world as a primitive place of myths and legends, but this device shows us a world of rational thought, empirical science, and breathtaking engineering. It reminds us that the people who lived 2 millennia ago were not so different from us. They looked up at the same moon and sun. They were fascinated by the same cycles of nature. And they used the most advanced technology available to them to try and make sense of it all. The mechanism bridges the vast expanse of time and lets us shake hands with those ancient minds. This single object has also reshaped our museums and our classrooms. It has become a centerpiece in the story of science, a prime example of ancient genius that can captivate a new generation. When young students learn about the Antikythera mechanism, they learn that history is not a boring list of dates and kings. It's a detective story full of mysteries, incredible discoveries, and lost worlds waiting to be rediscovered. It encourages a more nuanced view of the past and inspires curiosity about what other secrets may still be hidden, waiting for the right tools and the right minds to uncover them. Ultimately, the Antikythera mechanism is a message of hope. It's a testament to what humanity can achieve when we apply reason, creativity, and craftsmanship to the great questions of our existence. Even though its knowledge was lost for a time, its rediscovery proves that great ideas can endure. It survived 2,000 years at the bottom of the sea to deliver its message to us. And that message is clear. The universe is knowable, it is ordered, and we, a curious species on a small planet, have the capacity to understand it. The cosmos is within our grasp, just as it was for the ancient Greeks in a small bronze box.